I decided to do medicine.
Okay.
So I chose Legon. At
Mm-hmm.
that time, you
Mm-hmm.
had to do biological science. Yeah, they will pick about 1,000 students. We
Mm-hmm.
all go through the course, and at the end, they will pick about 100 or 120 for the interview,
Okay.
or sometimes 200 for the interview. Then they will select the best out of the interview.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a biological science. Usually, the previous years, the cutoff would have been around 3.6 or 3.7
Okay.
GP.
Mm-hmm.
But our time, the cutoff was 3.9. That was
Wow.
from 4.0 to
Means that
3.9.
the competition was very tough.
It was tough.
Yeah.
Like the guys, everyone was serious about it. Everybody wanted to go to medical school.
Okay.
So we went for the interview, and then later I called. Apparently, the list had been out. My name was not in. And that was my biggest
One of your biggest
disappointment.
disappointments. Yeah, I understand.
And I felt like the earth should open and I should vanish.
You are welcome once again to the life of the AfroPro. On this show, I interview young African professionals who are in diaspora, who have risked it all to make a meaningful life for themselves, their family, community, and the country at large. I believe you've seen a lot of videos around encouraging you to seek for greener pastures, or simply say to Jakpa. But the question is, how do you survive? How do you integrate into the system and focus on your career as a young African? That is the focus of this program. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe, share, and you can also leave a comment, or you can recommend somebody who is doing well in this area, so we also bring the person on board. My name is Kofi Boache. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm excited to have with me Mr. Daniel Luther Kofi. He is a chemistry tutor at North Anglia International School in Qatar. Mr. Luther, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How is life in the Gulf region?
It's good. For now, the weather is not so hot, so it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay. We thank God. Good to see you once again.
yeah. Been a long time,
Yes.
long time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you are ready, we'll go straight into the conversation.
Sure.
We'll start with a little bit about your background and your career journey.
Okay. So I was born in Tadi, so
Third,
I'm a Tadi boy. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I was born in Takrade. I grew up in Takrade. I went to STMA, Tanokrom STMA school. We call it
Oh,
Tampi. So when you go to
okay.
Tadi and you mention Tampi, everyone knows that school. And then I left and moved to SDA, JHS. Those days was JSS. Now they call it JHS.
Okay.
When I went to St. John's School, that is
Mhm.
where I did science. But before I went to SHS or high school, I actually wanted to do business because
Mhm.
my senior brother did business at
Okay.
St. John's, and
Mhm.
then he had his books and he was convincing me to do business.
Mhm.
But my father had also been tracking my reports and thought I was good in science. So
Okay.
he discussed with me and wanted me to do science, but I had made up my mind I want to go to St. John's and do business.
Okay.
Usually in Tadi, if you want to do science, it's either St. John's or GSTS. So if
Okay.
I wanted to do science, I should have
Mhm.
gone to GSTS, but because GSTS they don't have business option, so I just chose St. John's. So when the results came, um, he went. I don't know whether he went to the headmaster. He came back and said they have offered me science. I don't know what he went to do, but he came and said they've offered me science,
Okay.
and I said, okay, that's fine. But St. John's, they are very liberal with their options.
Mhm.
Even when you during orientation, they can allow you to change your course.
Okay.
So they even asked if you wanted to change, but I just felt I should just do the science. So I did science and I decided to do medicine.
Okay.
So I chose Legon. At that time, you had to do biological science.
Yes, I
And
remember.
they will pick about 1,000 students. We
Mhm.
all go through the course, and at the end they will pick about 100 or 120 for the interview,
Okay.
or sometimes 200 for the interview. Then they will select the best out of the interview.
Mhm.
So we did a biological science. Usually the previous years, the cutoff would have been around 3.6 or 3.7
Okay.
GP.
Mhm.
But our time, the cutoff was 3.9. That was
Wow.
from 4.0 to
Means that
3.9.
the competition was very tough.
It was tough.
Yeah.
Like the guys, everyone was serious about it. Everybody wanted to go to medical school.
Okay.
So we went for the interview, and I think we were waiting for the results, the list out, the outcome of the interview, and it
Mhm.
wasn't coming. So I left Accra. I was going back to Tadi, and I think it was Friday. A friend of mine called Gifty. I was calling her to hear the updates from her. She wasn't speaking.
Okay.
And then later I called. Apparently the list had been out. My name was not in. So she couldn't answer the call. Like she was crying because she had been my
Oh.
study mates. Yes. So a
Oh.
friend picked and then told me the list is out. My name is not in it. And
Mhm.
that
Wow.
was my biggest
One of your biggest
disappointment.
disappointments. Yeah, I understand.
And I felt like the earth should open and I should vanish.
Okay, so you made the grade point, the GPA,
Yeah.
and then you went for an interview, but you didn't go through the interview
Yes, I went for the interview and then the list came. My name was not part of. They picked, I think, 50 students.
for the whole year.
50 for regular. 50. Just 50.
Then
That's
the
it.
rest was fee paying.
So the rest, yes, you have to apply for fee paying. And I mean, there was no way, even if I was the only child of my parents, there was no way
You
I
were going
could.
to afford it.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you manage this disappointment?
So I was down. I had to come back. I didn't like, for me, there was no plan B. All I knew was medical school.
Wow.
So I had to come back to level 200 and I didn't know what to do. So I had to continue biological science. I didn't know whether I should do chemistry, biology. I wasn't sure. So I was,
Okay, so whilst you were going through this disappointment, did you get any academic advisor or like a
no,
counselor
no,
to guide you,
no,
mentor?
no,
Nothing. You had to
nothing,
manage it on your own.
nothing,
Interesting.
nothing.
Interesting.
Some of my colleagues left, they went to UDS, some went to, I think, that time UCC was starting the medical school. So
Okay.
if you had money, the thing is, if I had money, I could have applied for the fee paying
Fee
because I
paying,
went for it.
yeah.
But I mean, the background was not prepared for that. So I had to come back and level two and I were just walking through the school.
But I didn't see that during our days in Legon.
Yes,
You were still lively, moving around, doing your own thing.
we're trying to be, but in the mind, we're not very stable.
Wow. That's so sad. Sorry about that. Yeah.
So I could actually I had prayed a lot before deciding to come to Legon. So I didn't know how like God will let me down that way. So
Wow.
it was two. Either I get disappointed in God and
Mm-hmm.
live my life on my own. But on the contrary, what happened was that
Okay.
now that I have no plan B and I don't know how the future was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
so I just decided to leave everything to God. Whatever happens, happens. Now
Okay.
my plan A is gone. So
Mm-hmm.
God is plan B. So it's just lead me through life.
Okay.
Whichever way it will turn, I don't know. So I
Okay.
had no idea. I was just going through. So after level 200, we had to pick our options
Mm-hmm.
in level 200, either chemistry, biochemistry. Usually most students will pick biochemistry. So I decided to pick chemistry
Okay.
and we did chemistry. I finished And before service postings, I
Mm-hmm.
was doing a voluntary work at GAEC, Ghana Atomic Energy.
Okay.
So I had the option of letting them transfer my posting to
Mm.
GAEC or change the posting so I would stay at GAEC at their lab.
Okay.
But when the posting came out, being posted to WAS, Adenta, West
Mm-hmm.
African Secondary
Yeah.
School, yeah. So I was thinking, should I go and teach or I should stay at the lab?
Mm.
At that time, I was reading a book by Ben Carson. It's called Take the Risk.
Okay.
So it will teach you how to make a decision in difficult time. It
Okay.
asks, I think, 4 questions. What is the best thing that will happen if you take this decision? What is the
Mhm.
worst thing that will happen if you take this decision?
Okay.
What is the best thing that will happen if you don't take this decision? And the worst thing that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps you to analyze and see where
Mm.
you stand.
Okay.
So that was when I started thinking about my life. And I realized, in fact, I've been teaching most of my life,
Okay.
teaching in the choir, you remember, in the
Mhm.
choir,
Yeah.
uh, church, Sabbath school,
Yeah.
even back in SHS, when our teachers were on strike, I would teach my colleagues.
Oh,
So
okay.
teaching is something I can easily do.
Become natural. Yeah.
Yes. So I thought of going to WAS to do the teaching. And then the guy, the boss at the place said, it's okay, it's not bad. He used to teach before he came to the lab, so
Okay.
it's good to go. So I went to teach. Before service ended, I had a call from a friend
Mhm.
who was asking, usually service will end around August.
Okay.
So around, I think, May, June, yeah, the call came another time.
Mm-hmm.
Will I still want to continue the teaching? I said, oh, yes, why not? He said, there's a school at East Legon. They need a teacher for science. That was the first time I got introduced to this foreign curriculum, the
Okay.
British
Okay.
curriculum, IGCSE and those things. So I went there, they interviewed me, and when they realized that I had music background, then they were more
Interesting.
interested because aside teaching the science, I could also help with music.
Okay.
So they gave me an offer. They didn't even ask for my certificates. They just
Oh,
gave me.
wow.
And then I went. So service ended
Mm.
September. No, August we went for training. September I had job. I was teaching. I was there for like 2 years. I got to understand the IGCSE syllabus. It was new to me. I thought WASI was everything everyone wrote.
Mm-hmm.
It was the main thing everyone wrote in Ghana. I didn't
Yeah.
know there were options. There were even foreign curriculum and all that.
Okay.
I learned that, and after I think at the end of the 2 years, no, I think after the one who interviewed me, who he was the head of the secondary,
Mm-hmm.
he's called Mountain, very good man. He left the place and we didn't know where he was again. He had resigned. He had taught in the UK for a long time
Okay.
and came back to Ghana. So he was heading the school. The school is it's called Multi Kids Academy.
Okay.
It's legal. So that was the second year of my teaching. I had a call from him and he said, how am I doing? I said, oh, I'm still at Multi Kids. And he said he needed some science books if I have recommendations.
Mm.
And I just sent him some books I thought was good for the program.
Okay.
And then he said he's now at Brady, the school at West Legon. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the head of secondary. If there's an offer for science position, if I'm interested, I should let him know. I said, okay. So I said I was interested, and then they scheduled an interview. I went. For it to be fair, he was not the one doing the interview had two options,
Okay.
two sections, sorry. You will teach and be observed how you teach.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be interviewed properly.
Okay.
So I had to teach, and they brought someone from GIS, and he observed the way I was teaching the class,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gave a very good recommendation that he has sat in my lesson and he think I can do the job. And
Yeah.
I went for the actual interview, and I was picked. So that was 2015. Then I
Mm-hmm.
resigned from Multicut, yes. and came to Brainy Ben.
Okay.
And then Brainy Ben, I was there for about 6 years.
Yeah.
So at Brainy Ben, they were now starting their secondary, so we were the ones starting everything,
Okay.
preparing the students for exams, setting up the lab, lesson plans. This man, Mr. Banfo, taught me everything about teaching in
Okay.
the international environment, like
Okay.
lesson plans, delivery of lessons, how to like teach properly. So he
Okay.
taught me all those things. So I stayed in Brainy Ben up to 2021. And then within that period, because I just have the BSc in chemistry, I was now thinking if I had to stay in the teaching environment or make a career out of teaching, then I should take some courses so that I would have a strong footing in the career. So I applied to Legon to do masters in educational leadership and management.
Okay.
And I finished in 2019.
Okay.
2019 was a good year. I married 2019. I finished the masters 2019. And I think I had the best teacher award in Benin in 2019 also. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Then that was a good year for you.
Yeah.
Good.
So it was at Brainy Ben 2001. A friend of mine who was also a physics and math teacher, he had a job offer here in Qatar.
Okay.
And it's surprising. He met someone on LinkedIn. Okay. And then the guy was telling him that he can offer him a job outside Ghana if he's in, they should meet. He's a Jamaican, he's called Winston. He had been teaching in the UK for a long time.
Okay.
And he had relocated to Ghana. And he was trying to put teachers to UK. So my friend got in touch with him and he got an offer here in Qatar.
Okay.
Yes. So I think around April, he left Brainy Ben and came here. So when he left, he told the man, he gave my details to Winston that if there's an offer, you should also link me.
Consider you. Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't something I was looking up to. Like, I just thought one of those things.
Yeah.
And so I was there. Winston sent you a message that there's an offer from my friend's school, the same school.
Okay.
I'm interested. They need a chemistry teacher. But usually Winston would train you a lot. He would take you a lot of training, interviews, before he would be sure that he can push your CV or your professional statement to the head teachers out there. But mine wasn't like that. It was the needed a teacher, so he just called, am I ready for the interview? I said yes. Then he gave me some few tips. So the interview was scheduled. It was a Wednesday. And in Qatar, it would be 8 a.m. In Ghana, it was 5 a.m.
Wow.
And there was doom so in Ghana. So the Zoom meeting, I had to use, it was a torchlight or to make sure the room was bright because it can't be dark.
Wow.
I mean, so I was using that and I did the interview in the morning. And then the head of secondary at the time, she said, she's impressed, but she's doing other interviews because they are interviewing a lot of people. And here they could recruit teachers from anywhere in the world. So it's not like because you are the only person they can employ. No, you have to get the best.
Yeah.
So she told me if I qualify, she'll let me know.
Okay.
Or if they decide that I'm the one they want, she'll let me know. So that was Wednesday. I think in the afternoon, she sent me in the morning, that was 5 a.m. Ghana time. In the afternoon, before I closed from work, she has sent me a mail that she's done with the interview and she's sure I'm the one she wants. So, but there will be a second interview on Sunday because here work needs start from Sunday. So I'll meet two other panel members. That is the head of the secondary and the assistant head of head of science, sorry, and the assistant head of secondary. So I met them also, and then we did the interview. Monday, they sent me a contract.
Wow.
That's
fast.
That was fast. Like Wednesday, The
Yeah.
next week, Monday, everything was, and the
Uh,
principal assigned. If I'm interested in the contract, they give all the details. They'll process everything. That was around May, so I can have time to resign, and
mhm.
then I guess I'll move to Qatar. So
Wow.
that is how it happened.
Interesting. What an interesting journey. I think you've been through a lot. Roller coaster, the
Yeah,
disappointment,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
coming out of the disappointment. You didn't know what to do, but you sailed through, and I'm very impressed with your background. So you finally got to Qatar. What was the motivation? Was it that you were more or less fed up, or you were already used to the Ghanaian system, so you wanted a new challenge or a new environment?
Back in Ghana, I had never thought of traveling.
Yes.
I was the patriotic Ghana.
Okay. Okay.
I believe you can stay in Ghana and make it.
Okay.
But at the time, I'd been at Brainy for 6 years.
Hmm.
When you stayed at one place for 6 years, you
Yeah.
want a new challenge.
Hmm.
And I've understood the curriculum. I've
Okay.
taught both biology and chemistry. I was teaching both biology and chemistry up to A level.
Okay.
So that actually placed me at a point where I could teach in any international school in Ghana.
Okay.
So I needed a new challenge, new environment. And
Uh,
then two, you also want something good for your family. So the option that came
was
had, yeah, the motivation behind it was very good.
okay.
So I thought that, I mean, it's worth taking it. And also my friend had been here
Okay.
and it was the same school I was moving to. So it wasn't like it
Okay.
was a scam or I was
Mm-hmm.
going to have any challenge. He had been here. So he briefed me of everything, how things were going
Mm-hmm.
here. Qatar wasn't that popular till the World Cup time. So
Yeah.
I didn't know much about Qatar. It was
Mm-hmm.
during that time I started finding out, even if they had religious freedom
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I checked and I realized, oh, they even have churches, a lot of churches around.
Okay.
It's not like a very strict
Mm-hmm.
Islamic
Yeah.
country. So all these factors, I put them together and I said, okay, why not try? That was it.
Okay. That's very good. Okay, so now you got into Qatar. Tell us a little bit about the integration, transitioning from Ghana to Qatar. You are in front of new crop of students. How did you transition into the system?
Okay, it wasn't very difficult because my teaching career started in an environment like that.
Okay,
So in more tickets, most of the teachers there were white. It was a mix of white and black teachers, and
okay,
the children were a mix of that. So I
mm,
was used to teaching people or children from different environments and
okay,
meeting colleagues from different environments.
okay.
It's Brainy Bender was mostly Ghanaian based
Ghanaian,
or
okay.
Ghanaian, yes. And
Mm,
then even there were students from other countries who have relocated to Ghana.
okay.
So one teaching those children, it
Hmm.
wasn't too, I understood the curriculum. I've been
No,
teaching it for almost 8 years.
okay,
So it wasn't a new thing.
okay.
So here, transition here, the only difference was that we were only like two black teachers in the secondary and
Oh,
everyone
okay,
was white. But the children, it's a mix.
okay.
Actually, in Qatar, um, if you look at the population, there are around 3 million, but
Oh,
the expats
small
are about
country.
88%.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
it's a
okay.
country full of people from different countries. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Interesting. Okay, so now life in Qatar. Tell us some of the things that um, perhaps a lot of people don't know about Qatar. Most of the time people have perception when they are moving from one place to the other. When you finally got in, just like you said, you did a little bit of research when you were giving the offer, and now you are in the country. Your perception or whatever you had research on, and then the reality on grounds. How is the mix?
Okay. Whatever I researched on, I think when I got it was the same thing. Like it
Okay. So
was
there were no cultural shocks.
no, no. The cultural shock was that I didn't expect them to be that rich.
Okay. Okay, tell us about that. What are some of the unique benefits of working in Qatar?
Okay, so here, usually when you are a professional and you work here, it's very easy to bring your family along.
Okay.
We have a threshold, like salary threshold for bringing your family.
Okay.
So if you're a professional, like you're in the health sector, you're in the teaching sector,
Mhm.
IT, engineering, it's easier to meet that threshold and bring your family because they don't want a family to be a burden on you.
Mhm.
Yes. So it's very easy. The country is built for family.
Okay.
When I came here, I think there was a time um we went to a beach with my friend. At that
Mhm.
time, my wife wasn't here.
Okay.
His family wasn't also here. And we got to the beach and they said, this place is for families. So
Wow.
you can't hear.
Wow.
You can go to restaurants. There are places just for families. You can go to beaches. They will tell you Wednesdays and Thursdays for women and children. Yeah,
Wow.
let me say this. When I came, my hospital I was assigned to a hospital
Mhm.
very far away from where I stayed
Mhm.
because the ones closer to me, I had to be a family or my wife had to be here before they can assign me to it. So when
Interesting.
my wife came, they
Wow.
they made her health card and then they assigned her to the hospital before mine was transferred to the place.
Wow.
So they really think about families. They have a lot of parks where
Mhm.
children can play and go to.
Mhm.
So they think about families. That is one. Two, they don't tax salary. Your salary, your gross is your net. It's the same thing.
Interesting.
There's no tax on it. Um, Apart from your salary, usually you would have allowance for your accommodation.
Okay.
Yes. And that so most of the workers here, especially the teachers are from UK. Yeah,
Okay.
it's difficult. Most of the schools look at teachers from UK to come here. They don't really look at Africa,
Mhm.
except South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, few from South Africa, but um, for for the few of us from Africa who got here, usually unless you are a science teacher, because science teachers are really scarce all over the
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
So it's when they are not getting teachers like math and science, then they
Okay.
look at other areas and then
Okay.
they consider teachers coming here. So if you want to move in here, if you go through the UK route, now UK has opened up teachers in Ghana, in Nigeria. I think if you're a
Yeah.
teacher in Ghana, Nigeria, and you're able to get QTS,
Mhm.
they call it QTS, that status as a teacher from UK, yeah,
Okay.
then you can easily get a job here.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now that you are in and you've settled in and everything, I just want to find out what are some of the key lessons that helped you to be able to stay focused in a foreign land and still thrive in your profession?
I think mention two things. One is being nice to people.
Okay.
Like if you followed all that I've mentioned, it
Mm-hmm.
was Mr. Banfo at Multicate
Okay.
who moved
Move
to
to
Winnipeg and
okay.
then called
Link
me.
you. Okay.
Yes, it was my friend I had worked with who moved here, and then he linked me to
Mm-hmm.
Winston. Okay, so
Yeah.
just be nice to people
Okay.
wherever you go. Just connect with people.
Okay.
Just when people realize that you are a nice person or you
Mm-hmm.
relate well with them,
Yeah.
then it's easier for them to recommend you.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if God wants to bless you, there's no way God has sent an angel to come and give us
Mm-hmm.
anything.
It does it
It is
through
through
people.
people.
Yeah.
It is always through people.
Yeah.
So just be nice to people. Even if they make you feel bad, just ignore it and you just be nice. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other thing too is that whatever you are doing, do your best.
Okay.
Just do your best. Just learn as much as you can in that area you find yourself. Whether you love the job or you found yourself doing it,
Mm-hmm.
whichever way, just do your best.
Okay.
Because the next level will come, and it will depend on the preparations you've made before.
Exactly.
That's all. Yeah. So I think these two things have really helped me. Wherever I go, I'm able to gel with my colleagues at work and the children, and it makes my work very easy.
Okay. My next question will be, how do you envision the impact of African professionals back home in Africa or Ghana specifically? You know, we are in an era where a lot of people are traveling outside of their country, especially in Africa. The question I usually ask myself is that what kind of influence or what kind of impact can this era that we are in now have on our citizens or our people back home? How do we influence people back home positively with these kind of experiences that we have in?
It's a very important question. For me, whenever you leave your country, there should always be an exit plan.
Okay.
Whenever you move, you should always think of how to go back. Okay.
Mhm.
And you are going back to add value to those who are there, or you've come to add value to yourself outside your country. You go back and still add value if you go back to work to
Mhm.
make your work life better or share the experiences
Yeah.
you've had. So even now, when I go back to Ghana, I have people that I get in touch, share my experience with them,
Okay.
colleagues who are in the education field, who are in new fields, who need experience in this international teaching and curriculum. I still share my ideas and my experience with them.
Okay.
So those of us who have left, it's good to share our knowledge in
Mhm.
our various fields with
Okay.
those back.
Okay.
You have the opportunity to. It's good not to cut um, ties with those who are already back home. You know,
Okay.
sometimes we don't call our friends back. We think
Mm.
we've made it. No, we should always stay in touch with our friends so
Okay.
we can know what is happening back home. We can
Mhm.
share our experiences.
Okay.
We can guide them, those who have options to move,
Mhm.
not to make the mistakes we made or the
Exactly.
challenges we've gone through.
Mhm.
We should always have ears back home,
Back home.
what is happening, so we can easily settle back and we
Okay.
can easily help our colleagues who are there. We can easily know how to make decisions going forward. Because
Okay.
whatever happens, you are a foreigner in some of this country.
Of course.
Yes,
Of
you will
course.
still go back home. So
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So finally, I want to ask this one. You know, life, they say, as humans, we suffer two pains, the pain of discipline and then the pain of regrets. Are there any key lessons as to some disciplines that you adopted that helped you in life? And the other side of the question is that, are there any regrets in life that perhaps if you are given a second chance, you do better?
I would not say regrets. I would say, because for me, whatever happens, I just see it as a challenge. So
Okay.
I don't really see regrets. It depends how you see whatever is thrown at you.
Yeah.
Um, I've learned two things.
Okay.
You know, I mentioned diligence or hard work.
Okay.
Okay. There's this book in the Bible. I like to read it a lot, Proverbs, because it's very practical. It
Mhm.
deals how
Yeah.
to do well in life. So I
Yeah.
like to read it. And there are two things that I've really paid attention to in
Mm.
Proverbs. In chapter 10, verse I think 4, it says that the if you're a lazy man, you'll be poor.
Mhm.
And if you're a diligent man, you'll be rich. I mean,
Okay.
the riches might not necessarily be money, but
Okay.
as in you excel in whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
And then in 22 verse 29 also says, a diligent man, if you see a man who is diligent, he will
Mhm.
not meet common people. He will meet great men.
Okay.
So paying attention to what you do and doing it very well
Okay.
will lead you to the next level.
Okay.
That is one. The other thing is that Proverbs 10 verse 22 also says that the blessings of the Lord makes one rich, and he had no soul to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not only hard work.
Mhm.
It's not only about hard work. It's
Yeah.
about God's blessings.
Okay.
Because there are people who are hardworking.
Extra. Yeah.
They are doing much better,
Yeah.
and they are doing a lot than we are doing.
Mm.
But it's God's blessings also. Because
Okay.
when God adds his blessings, the opportunities keep coming. So
Yeah.
these two things, I've seen them in my life, that God, you do your best,
Mhm.
prepare, work as much as you can, learn as much as you can, figure things out, explore whatever you can do, just do it.
Do it.
And then don't also fall out of God's favor. I
Mhm.
mean, things that make it difficult for God to bless you, don't
Okay.
go serious, because the journey that it can take you like 40 years, God can make it work within 4 days.
Thank you very much for your time, Luther. It's been an exciting time with you, and I appreciate your time. I know our audience will learn a lot of these insights that you've shared with us. We are very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank for having me on your program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Please do well to share with others. You may never know how this informative section will help somebody. Until I come your way in the next episode, stay positive. Keep doing the good things you are doing, and you surely get there. Thank you.